Welcome to Science on Location. Today we are studying food webs. Our Metro Park science location is Prairie Oaks Metro Park, located in West Jefferson, Ohio. Prairie Oaks features nearly 500 acres of lush flowering prairies and grasslands that were restored using seeds native to the Darby Plains. The spectacular and lush scenery of Big Darby Creek, a state and national scenic river, provides a beautiful backdrop for outdoor adventure. Named for the large oaks that once dominated the land and the prairies that flourished across central Ohio, the 2,203-acre park features several lakes for fishing and kayaking. There's even a dog swimming area. In late summer, you can see fields of flowering ashy sunflower, royal catchfly, and purple coneflower against the backdrop of big and little blue stream and Indian grasses. Prairie Oaks is a beautiful place to visit any time of year. In fact, I've taken several groups of students there in the spring. Check out that lush green forest. We always have a great time learning and exploring at Prairie Oaks. Let's read this sign that we found while exploring the park. Big Darby Creek. The Wyandot Indians in this area called this creek the Olentangy, meaning River of Red Face Paint. But surveyors renamed it Big Darby Creek in the late 1700s. According to legend, they named it for an Indian chief who lived near the mouth of this waterway. Big Darby Creek, a state and national scenic river, flows through 6 counties on its 88-mile through trek from its headquarters near Marysville in Union County towards Circleville in Pickaway County, where it empties into the Scioto River. Darby Creek and its 245 miles of tributaries meander through rolling fields, prairies, savannas, and heavily wooded ravines. Its slow-moving, deep pools and shallow, fierce riffles help make this creek one of North America's most biologically diverse freshwater streams. Several rare, threatened, and endangered species live within the Darby watershed. More than 100 species of fish, 40 species of mussels, 35 species of mammals, and almost 200 species of birds have been recorded. Metro Parks, in partnership with other public agencies and private organizations, continues to work toward protecting the Darby Creek watershed to ensure that future generations will also be able to enjoy its scenic, recreational, and biological beauty. Since there are so many organisms living in the Big Darby Creek watershed, food webs are very important here. In fact, I think there's a new movie coming out based on one of the organisms from that sign. Let's check it out. Wow, I barely recognized Agent O'Frog in his forest frog disguise. In looking at this food web that the frog is part of, I can see the sun is not there. However, I know the sun is always there because that is our energy source for all of our food chains and food webs. So remember that sun's energy is going to those producers. So those producers are taking that energy, they're using water and carbon dioxide to make their own food. So what are our two producers in this food web? What are the two producers or two plants? We have berries and plantains. Berries and plantains are our two producers. What eats our producers? Well, let's look at the plantain first. Looks like the energy from the plantain's going to the rabbit, to the mouse, and to the grasshopper. Those three organisms eat the plantain to get energy. Now, what eats the berries? Looks like the grasshopper, the titmouse, the butterfly, and the green fly. Those plant eaters are my first level consumers. Any animals that eat them are second level consumers. Can you spot any second level consumers or consumers that eat second? Let's see. I can see something that eats the rabbit, the fox, buzzard. See fox again. Ooh, and the titmouse, it looks like the snake can be a second level consumer. Oh, a ladybird is also one. And the frog is a second level consumer. So any organism that is eating second is actually a second level consumer. And as we go up, we can have a third level consumer and a fourth level consumer. We could have fifth, sixth, seventh level consumers. It just depends on the food chain. We are going to focus on Agent O Frog and see the many food chains that he is part of that we can see in this food web. Since there's no image of the sun, we're going to start with our producer. So let's go ahead and look at the berries. Energy goes from the berries to the butterfly when the butterfly eats the berries. And then energy goes to the frog when the frog eats the butterfly. Energy goes to the snake when the snake eats the frog. And then that energy goes to the buzzard when the buzzard eats that snake. And a buzzard is a scavenger. I don't see any decomposers in this food web, but we do have that scavenger that eats dead things. I was able to trace the energy in this food chain using the arrows because arrows show energy flow. I guess that's back. Now that we have traced this food chain in the food web, we can see what it looks like with words. I can see the energy goes from the berries to our first level consumer, the butterfly. Butterfly's energy goes to the frog, our second level consumer. Then the energy goes to the snake, our third level consumer. And our buzzard is our fourth level consumer in this food chain. Let's find another food chain in this food web that Agent O Frog is part of. In this example, we're going to start with the same producer. We're going to start with berries. And the energy from the berries go to that green fly. So when the green fly eats the berries, it gets the energy. And then that ladybird beetle eats the green fly and gets its energy. The dragonfly gets its energy from the ladybird beetle when it eats it. Frog eats the dragonfly. Snake eats the frog, and the buzzard eats that snake. We have created another food chain found in this food web. I was able to trace the energy of the food using those arrows. Arrows show energy flow. In comparing it to our other food chain, I can see this one has many more organisms or living things in it. We began with the same producer, berries. Energy goes to the green fly. Then the energy from the green fly goes to the ladybird. So the green fly is our first level consumer. The ladybird is our second level consumer. The ladybird beetle's energy goes to the dragonfly, our third level consumer. Dragonfly's energy goes to the frog, our fourth level consumer. The frog's energy goes to our fifth level consumer, the snake, and in this example, the buzzard is our sixth level consumer. It's time to trace another food chain that Agent O Frog is part of. This time we're going to start with the other producer, the plantain. The energy goes from the plantain to the grasshopper, grasshopper to the frog, frog's energy goes to the snake, and the snake's energy goes to the buzzard. Here's our new food chain path in words. We have the plantain's energy going to the grasshopper, which is our first level consumer. Grasshopper's energy going to our second level consumer, the frog. Frog's energy going to the snake, our third level consumer. And once again, that buzzard is our apex predator, or it has no other predators there. That's our fourth level consumer. It's time time for our last food chain with Agent Frog. This time we're going to start with our producer, the berries again. The grasshopper gets the berries' energy when it eats it. And then the frog eats the grasshopper, the snake eats the frog, and the buzzard eats that snake. This food chain is almost identical to the last one. What's the only difference? Our only difference is what the grasshopper eats. In one food chain, it eats the plantains, and in the other food chain, it eats the berries. In looking at this food chain in word form, you can see the berries' energy goes to the grasshopper's energy goes to the frog's energy goes to the snake, and the snake's energy goes to the buzzard. We have identified 4 different food chains involving Agent Frog in this one food web. Now it's your turn. You are going to find 3 food chain examples found in this one food web. Now we just went over 4 different examples, so you may not use any of these examples. Don't worry, there's lots of food chains left in that food web. Just make sure you start with one of the producers and follow the energy flow using those arrows. Here's your food web example. Pause the video if you need time to write down your food chain examples. And don't forget, arrows show energy flow. That's all for me. Take care. Peace.